And here we go, spawning down in at the bottom left, representing Good Game Gaming. It is Dream.
And his opponents in the upper right, in the red, for Ting Esports and North America, the Thunder Shaft, Neeb.
Alex is such a humble guy. He is the kind of player that when he was winning everything, when he won Kespa Cup in 2016, when he was dominating the foreign scene for like 2 years, he would consistently say, I don't think I'm very good. You know, I'd be like, Neeb, you just beat like, you just beat stats 4 or trap 4-0. Like you are dominating everyone. You'd be like, nah, I don't really feel like I played that well. You know, my opponent made a lot of mistakes. It's like, dude, no, you are the best player in the world right now. Like, you are absolutely insane. And for a while he was, but even when he was, he still had that kind of extreme humility. We are going to see an engineering bay block, by the way, and that's a nice way to start things off. Maru, big fan of this build, and kind of dictates the meta a little bit. Neeb did get on top of it pretty quickly, but this Nexus is going to be delayed by a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've started to see this a little more. You say Maru is a fan, and that is absolutely going to be the story of Group D tomorrow. But the darling of this entire tournament thus far, we're seeing this from Ryung as well. And I gotta imagine, Steadfast, that this is really Dream's response to Neeb having no form. No one knows what he's doing. We don't know how hard he's been practicing or not. So you think maybe your opponent's a little bit weak in prep? You throw the weird stuff at him. You throw the stuff that is slightly off meta, and maybe you're gonna strike it rich. Maybe you're going to put him off a little bit more than they might even expect as the Reaper finds its way into the main base. Shouldn't get much of anything. Maybe one probe will go down, but the Adept is out. Neeb choosing to sacrifice a little bit of time to make sure that this does happen. Oh, he's gonna get a second probe here, and that should not happen. Neeb taking just a little bit too much damage in this early game, but look at the block though. That's fancy.
It is, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to get the kill on the Reaper. Oh, that's a nice move, and he needed that pylon anyways, so it's all good. His Adept was 10 seconds late. He dropped the Chrono Boost. He went Gate Cybernetics Core. I'm not sure if he got supply blocked or what it was. I wasn't paying attention to the actual supply, but I just noticed it should have been out at 220, but it was out at 230. And as a result, that Reaper ends up picking up 2 kills. Neeb, a bit of a shaky start for this group stage. Very, very unfortunate. And we got to talk about it. We got ourselves a 3 racks coming in from Dream. Hasn't even thrown down the second tech lab yet. Going for that first Marine. Should throw it down, though, in order to get that combat shields, I think.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, or not. Okay.
Okay. Even faster timing. That's really interesting. I mean, I was going to say faster timing, but you really do want combat shields with this Inono, Neeb. He's got the normal Stargate build. I was going to say the Oracle into Twilight build that Zest has been doing is actually really good against the 3 racks. You get the Oracle out so you figure out where things are, you have pressure on the map, and then you just drop shield batteries and you get a bunch of stuff. It works out pretty well for you, but that is not the start of this game, as the Oracle's going to find a little bit of damage in the natural. 2 workers will go down for now, but of course, there are plenty of Marines. It's a 3 racks build. Plenty of what it takes to zone things out. Third base on the way. Neeb getting his additional gateways, so at least he'll have 3 gates to defend.
Yeah, he's playing a little bit of an older style right here, and this does make me wonder how up-to-date he is with the meta at the moment, because even though that's a relatively new build, a lot of the top Korean Protosses, that's going to be the story of this tournament in the PvT matchup. Is it's going to be that single Oracle into Blink, into Twilight Council. Oh my god, how is this Reaper still alive? Neeb has had so many opportunities to pick it off. It's going to get another scout. It gets the probe before getting picked off. Huge, huge win right there. And now we're going to be seeing a Forge and a Twilight Council to follow this up from Neeb. He's gone 3 sentries, which is a very... This feels like he's like teleported back in time a little bit.
In fairness to Neeb, The Oracle and the Blink style, it's a new style, but it's also an old style. We used to see it a couple years ago, maybe slightly differently, but the same bones, the same idea. So maybe he's taking some idea off of that. In fact, the bigger thing though, he's scouted what's coming. He got 1 Phoenix, which honestly is probably worse than having 0 Phoenix, or it is just about the same as having
agree,
0
yeah.
Phoenix, right?
No, I would argue. I would agree that it's actually worse. Yeah, you've just thrown the money into it with no gain, really.
Well, I guess like in this game though, having 3 Phoenix is probably still worse than having 1 Phoenix because you're trying to hold stim bio with a bunch of Phoenix. Doesn't really work out all that well. But what I'm actually really worried about is if we take a look at Neeb's natural for a second, the position that we're going to see Dream try to stim into, that is the Artosis Pylon to end all Artosis Pylons. It's got a Forge, it's got a Twilight, it's got 2 Gateways, and it's got the Shield Battery. If Dream is able to find his way in there, stim on top of that, that 1 Pylon secures Neeb's hopes, every little bit of Neeb's game in that 200 HP.
It's a very, very important pylon. Very interesting that you want for Blink before charge. Means, yeah, it's... I feel like I would have much preferred to see that Zest build if he was going to go for this anyways. We are going to see the force fields coming on down, but there's just so many Marines with +1, and they're going to stim it on top of this. The force fields are a little bit kind of all over the place. They will trap these Marines on the top side against this Geyser, but there's not a lot of fighting power in this army despite the huge number of Stalkers. They don't have their +1, they don't have their Blink. Neeb is going to need to buy a lot more time, but he is out of force fields. And Dream, I think you just wait for the units to heal up and then try and shove once again, but he might be expecting Blink to already be done. And this could be the meta actually working out in favor of Neeb right here. Oh, these pylon, he's gonna get the 2 gateways depowered.
I gotta say though, Steadfast, those force fields were really good. They made, what, a third of Dream's army actually fight capable, as now he's gonna try to find his way in. Once again, Blink is now done, +1 is done as well here as Neeb has the Concave. He does have a shield battery, no overcharge. In fact, the shield battery just goes down. Dream saying, well, your army's got a Concave, that's fine, I'll just fight half of it, and the other fight, well, we'll make something happen later. And now he stims into the natural. Probes are getting pulled here, trying to make something happen as Neeb. He outblinks the Widowmine, gets on top of this bio, but 8 probes have died, and the bio is not dying anytime soon. The Stalkers are doing what they can, but every Marine has a personal healer. What a trade for the Korean Terran.
And a really nice move from Dream right there. He came in with the additional drop, and that actually saved basically all of his medevacs. Yeah, you might have noticed there was an SCV there. Little bit of a miscue from Dream, but a very, very good setup of aggression. And if that drop wasn't there, all 4 of these medevacs are going down. So the fact that Dream was able to get a drop across the map and keep Neeb occupied made it so that, because otherwise I feel like the trade is actually okay for Neeb if he gets all those medevacs. But because they get out, I actually really like Dream's position a lot in this game.
You know, Steadfast, it's weird. This game that Neeb has played, we were talking about, oh, it's kind of outdated. He's going into Phoenix play. Cool. It's like he decided to do that and then halfway realized that, oh yeah, I should actually do that Oracle into Blink idea. And what that meant was everything is just a little bit late. The Blink was late. The additional gateways were maybe a little bit late. Everything, yeah, just a little bit of a weird timings. We will see a medevac go down here, but at least for Neeb, his +2 is decently timed. His charge is on the way, and he's moving into double Robo Colossus into double Robo Disruptor, most likely. So while his position is not incredible, he's down a couple workers. His 4th base is not on the way, as of course Dreams is on location. He's feeling really confident in this game. Oracle's going to go down as well. No more map control for Neeb for the moment. There is maybe a world where he swarms this Terran army once charge is done and can maybe make something happen across the map.
That's going to be a tough timing to hit. We are going to see the fight coming down once again. Neeb trying to go for the force fields here. Widowmines will connect on those slow lots. And we're going to see Dream taking the nice position here to go after this Cybernetic core. And I like this decision from Neeb. He is heavily under the gun. He's going to go for those disruptors. They are a little bit more hit or miss, but they're good comeback units, and they get out faster than those Colossi. But Dream's not really going to give him the time. Charge will complete during this, but oh my god, the Widowmine field obliterates all the Zealots, and now it's basically pure Marauder versus Mass Stalker. Oh, I love this from Dream. Lifts up those Widowmine, saves them. This will ultimately get pushed back and cleaned up. Oh, Neeb unfortunately couldn't determine which medevac was the one with the units inside. Dream, though, he's just going to keep rallying units.
Yeah, with the ghosts on the field now, it means these zealots, they're good for a moment because it's a very marauder-heavy army, but the ghosts are out now, making them even worse. The one Phoenix saying, I witness you! Drop, run away, run in fear, but unfortunately, the Terran is not as scared one as the Marines. They're going to unload. The Stalkers find their way into the main base. Disruptor shots are going to try to do what they can, but they're only knocking down rotomines. Important, sure. Valuable, sure, but action to detection is gone here, too. So it's all on these disruptors on pickup. Stalkers playing on top of it, though. Medevacs, it's just for a second as now the Marauders, they're dropping back down. Once again, Zealots should be able to clean up the rest of this, but not before more disruptors. They do fall. It is trade after trade after trade for Dream, and everyone is coming up daisies.
This was phenomenal from Dream. He has been putting the pressure on, keeping Neeb back. If we look at the battle report, we see that that is, first of all, a very long battle, and second of all, that it heavily favors Dream. And I gotta say, Neeb, he doesn't look bad. He just doesn't look super, super sharp. He looks good enough to beat some good players, but I don't know if he's going to be able to have all the success that he needs to make it out of this group. This is just game number 1. It is a warm-up game. You know, we'll see how he does in game number 2. But I think at this point we can say, barring some crazy disruptor shots, which this army has no business being on the map, barring some huge disruptor shots, we're going to game 2 with a 1-0 Dream lead.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a lot that Neeb can do here. He's sitting down almost triple the army supply of what his opponent has. And I'm not going to say Neeb, I mean, this move out was poorly considered, but you got to do something. GG, he falls. Dream takes game 1. I'm not going to say the game was bad so much as very out of date. It wasn't that Neeb was playing bad so much that his build did not deal with how the modern Terran meta plays. Is kind of how it felt. And
to be clear, you can still go Phoenixes. You can absolutely still go Phoenixes in that matchup, and you can even go Phoenixes against 3 racks. It felt like he wasn't ever planning to go for that Blink into Oracle or Oracle into Blink. But then it felt like you said, it felt a little bit out of date. It felt like we were watching a game from, honestly, for maybe like 2017, 2018, back when Neeb was a dominant force. There was another move that I wanted to talk about where he blinked forward onto a Stalker, or blinked forward onto a medevac. And, you know, it's a nice move, gets a medevac, but it shows where his observer was. And we saw that Dream immediately scanned, took that out, and then shortly after, when that big push came in on the right side, there was almost no vision on the map. There was, the Oracle had gone down, which is obviously very unfortunate. You really want that for Revelation. There was the hallucinated Phoenix, which had to be used to scout the army. And he got vision of it, but it really just kind of cut down his things. And it feels like he's playing a little bit of a style that's back when he was the top dog in the scene and he could just outmass players with mechanics. But unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. Everyone is good now. Everyone is good. And you just can't kind of lean on that. But we'll see if game number 2 has something different in store, or if it's going to be a little bit more of the same as we get into Curious Minds.
You know, there is something to be said for playing the old styles, or playing like you used to do, playing counter to the meta, playing these things that maybe people have forgotten about, or maybe things just don't happen in the same way. There is value in that, potentially. But if the reason that the meta has evolved is because the Terran has just figured out a modern build that absolutely kills the way you used to play, that's not exactly a way to do it, because we have these storylines. We're young. He's coming back from a long time ago. DRG has looked very good this year. Hero, again, he did not qualify, but looking fantastic. Old does not mean bad, but it does mean that the burden of proof is on you. And unfortunately, that burden proving a little bit too heavy in game number 1, but steadfast. We have a second game of this series. Curious Minds is the map. Let's go.
It sure is, and this is something that we're going to be talking about right out of the gate because it is a very important one. Very important build order spawning up at the top left, representing Ting. It is Neeb. America's hope and Ravi's crush, let's be real.
Absolutely. And in the bottom right, in the blue, he's up 1-0 for Good Game Gaming. He's not asleep, but he is Dream.
And for me, Dream is kind of not a... I have him as an outside side shot of getting out of this group, but he definitely has the capability of doing so. But I do think that he is most likely going to finish 4th in this group. But he looked very good in game number 1. TVP, though, not going to be the big deciding factor in this group. We did see a 12 pylon, by the way, and a 13 gateway out of Neeb, and he drops that low ground gateway. It's not going to be this very quick proxy Void Ray, but it is going to be a very quick unit on the map, and we have got a fake proxy. And I gotta say, I feel like these builds don't interact with each other very often at all. This is, oh my God, I thought he was gonna scout it. That would have been so good for Neeb. Oh man, that would have been so good if he'd seen that, because he could have just sent the Zealot right across the map, but he is gonna drop the pylon. Okay, I like this. I like this a lot. He might even decide to drop a shield battery.
Hey, this is such an interesting setup. Zealot are immediately running across the map here. Adept to follow up, but this game is going bonkers with Steadfast. eBay blocked because Neeb has not taken a natural. Dream knows what's happening, which means he should keep his Reaper at home, deal with that Zealot, which means not a lot is going to happen. Probe's going to show up on the high ground, but there we go, the shield batteries. Neeb with the extra sharp cheddar in this game number 2, but SCVs are going to get pulled. I don't think these shield batteries get up, or at least one of them has got to get canceled here. Yeah, that's going to go down. Second one not going to get up as well. Even as the Zealot does arrive, well, we have a Reaper, and Reapers kill Zealots with extreme prejudice. But the Adept's about to hit the other side of the map very soon. That's when things start to get very complicated for our blue Terran player. As the Stalker rallies across as well. This is an old build. Yeah, you have the max packs, but the way he put that stuff in the natural is really weird. We're just gonna have to see how well it works for him. A second Reaper out on the map. Dream just being defensive with these early game, these quick units, because he needs something.
And you know what? I mean, it's a good call. I like that he's going for the 3rd Reaper right here and went for the Hellion. He did go for a 2-gas opener, so it was always going to be that factory expand. So he was well set up for that. Oh, we do see the Adept actually shading into the main base. Going to be able to grab 2 SCVs. That's not... Is that enough? I don't think so. Yeah, with the 2 shield battery cancels, the Zealot, the Adept going down. He did kill the 3rd SCV that was building the engineering bay. So that's something. It is important to note that when the engineering bay block came down, Neeb did start up a 3rd gas. Oh, or 2nd gas. He doesn't have this probe mining. Oh, that's a big mistake right there. Hopefully he realizes that very, very quickly, because that's, you know, a 1/6 of his gas mining right there. That's 16.666 repeating, of course. Percentage of his mining.
Look at that. Steadfast, they say never do math on stream, but I got some math for you here. Dream, he's got a lot of stuff. Neeb does not have a lot of stuff here, although the second Stalker should be able to clean this up for a little bit. One Stalker goes down, and one Stalker's worth a whole hell of a lot more than 1 Reaper and 1 Hellion, especially as probes are going down. Of course, the Reaper 3-shot things. So they're going to sit on top. 6 probes go down here, and everything that Neeb has looked for, everything that Neeb has desired in this game, all of his shenanigans, all of his madness and his whimsy, they're not going to come to fruition, as Dream handled this just about perfectly.
Oh man, that's a disaster for Neeb. It was already a tough situation after that early game. Now he is so far down in this game. Look at the supplies right now. He's down in workers against a Terran who has mules, who just finished up his orbital command at the natural. He's down massively in army supply. And Dream, if he just pushes right now with a tank and I mean, honestly, it feels like the world is Dream's oyster at this point. It feels like he can push with this first tank and a few units. Feels like he can wait for stim. I really don't know what Neeb is going to do here to try and catch up. We'd have a Widowmine drop coming on in to the natural. And now the main. Oh, God, Neeb. Oh, almost dragged that Widowmine into his army. Or into his probe line, I should say. Damn. And even this survives, so that's going to mean unit has to stay at home.
You know, yeah, this is a big problem for Neeb. Absolutely. We've seen Neeb come back from insane deficits. But Steadfast, I think being down 3 probes against a Terran at 5 minutes in this game when you're on a 2-base setup having no army to speak of, very little tech to speak of. I think that might be a little bit too much, just a little, even for a player like the Thundershaft to deal with. The question now, though, is when does Dream move out? Is he going to wait, actually, for the +1, the stim, the combat shields, this timing that we are so familiar with? Or does he just move out a little earlier, take advantage of the timing he may or may not have because he's just that far ahead?
I mean, yeah, I think you just wait for Stim. Dream is a professional player. He's still not going to go with just a random slapdash attack. It's going to be something planned and, you know, it's going to be all part of the plan, so to speak. But he is far enough ahead that even if he didn't do that, Neeb would have a tough time holding. Now, there isn't like a really sharp timing that, you know, is stim, combat shields, +1 weapons. Everything's a little bit disjointed. If he starts up combat shields and concussive shells right now, he will have there we go. He will have a pretty good timing as those finish up. Neeb, though, everything is going wrong for him this game. He even lost that one stalker to the Widow Mine in the middle of the map with Blink. If he had had Blink, or if he had been paying attention, he could have saved that one stalker. We are going to see a hit squad coming into the main base. Stim is done, though. Okay, good. He checks with the observer, sees that the army is there, and says, okay, yeah, I definitely cannot do this. I have no business being here. Observer will get spotted, though. I think he stepped in range of the missile turret right there for just a moment. This is looking pretty insurmountable right now for Neeb.
This is so depressing. 4 Stalker's trying to do the thing that 15 normally would do to delay the push. And Neeb, he's still trying to do it, but at this point, this army is so damn good. And Neeb's third base is not even done. He doesn't have shield battery overcharge or something like that to keep the third base alive. And sure, Dream is taking his third base on location. Now, it's a little bit slower than what Neeb has, but that is fine. That is normal. That is expected. What is not expected is this income graph. Over the last 5 minutes, Neeb has been down workers against a Terran for this entire game. And Steadfast, I don't have to tell you, when the Protoss has Chrono and the Terran has Mules, there is never a world where the Protoss should be ahead or the Protoss should be behind in that endeavor in a game they have a chance to win. It's Dark pulling forward. Hey, that's a free tank, though. More of that, please. Maybe that's the world where Neeb makes something happen. Force fields are going to be very nice as well here. Neeb only fighting a portion of the army right now. Colossus hitting the field as well, although Marauders can get on top of it. But for the moment, the push is starting to look at least slightly holdable. This push, at least, for Neeb.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice find right there, getting that tank. Kind of a huge mistake from Dream, misrallying that. The difference between 3 tanks and 2, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And good job by Neeb snapping that tank off. Really big mistake from Dream, kind of leaving that, you know, exposed. But now we get to go into the mid game, and a push that I thought was honestly going to kill Neeb, he gets a little bit of respite. He is able to go into a mid game and maybe can turn something around. He's going to have extended thermal lance finishing up soon. He's going to have charge finishing up soon. His upgrades, +1 weapons, very delayed. Still very far behind in this game, but he's alive.
Yeah, honestly, with Colossus on the field, yes, +1 applies to them extremely well. But considering the army compositions right now, there's not a lot that really deals with this Colossus play, as extended thermal lance does finish. Which means that despite the 15 army supply deficit, which honestly for this stage in the game is not as big as it normally would be for a push that kills the Protoss player, this army that Neeb has does not have a lot of solutions to it right now. We have 1 Viking on the field. In fact, Dream was making it for a second. He has stopped doing so as he finds himself pretty close to a supply block. Neeb actually supply blocked as he does lose those pylons. But this army, again, this army that Neeb has been able to build for himself represents the might of the Protoss player well. It's exactly what Neeb wants to make sure that he can hold off this rampant Terran aggression. And with a lack of Vikings, again, Dream made 1. And now he's going back into medevac play. It's hard for him to take a fight straight up.
I gotta tell you something, Behemoth. Neeb's building a War Prism. He has not been building probes for a while, and he has not started additional gases. He's gonna get going for a big +1 Archon timing, +1 Archon charge lot, Blink Stalker, Colossus timing. He's kind of going all in-ish. He's taking a 4th base, and that will allow him to probe up behind us if he is so inclined. And as I say that, he starts up more probes. But he's got aggressive intentions right now, it feels like.
Yeah, and I really like this too. He's behind. If he lets Dream just power up and get to maybe the army that he has always dreamed of, maybe that's going to be something. Oh, look at that scan. It sees one of the Archons. So Dream now knows what is happening. You do not build Archons in this matchup unless you're attacking right here, right now. So missile turrets go up. We're seeing the defensive emplacements of Dream get ready. But Neeb is already here. It's Curious Minds. It is a short map. And Neeb says, well, I'm not going to attack into your third. That seems foolhardy. But there's not a lot defending your natural. So he's got the flank set on up here. Archon joining the fight. We're going to see the the Colossus just for a moment, trying to knock down the missile turret, but they're going to back up for a second. Neeb looking for the best possible engagement here. EMPs will blanket the army. Neeb, he's got to force to run back, but now he's going to take the fight. Zealots engage the Archons, popping like balloons, and the Colossus, they're fighting stuff behind this army. It looked like Neeb maybe had a slim timing where something would happen, but the bio stimming on forward, the reinforcements, the flank from behind, distracting the Colossus. Did